Uh,
Got a haircut, Barry. It looks like.
Say what?
Did you get a haircut or it shrink in the wash?
I got a haircut.
I was going to say the same thing.
But you know something? The weather is atrocious here. It's like below zero. So I can't go out and fire pots. So I decided to do all the things that I was going to do before I left town. I did it today and yesterday. In fact, I'm going to do something that I've never done. And what's that? I'm pretty sure I'm gonna cancel my first show. I'm gonna
Go down a week late.
Can't make it because the weather's gonna be horrible all week long. And all I have are really dark pieces, which it doesn't go in Florida. So and you know, as a torturous thing or as a thing, it's supposed to I wanted to leave Monday. So on Monday, the weather's gonna be in the 30s, and it's gonna be that way all week, you know. So that whole I could get all my firing done if I stayed and didn't do the first show. So the question is, okay, if I go there, will I make more money doing the 4 shows or canceling the first show and have better pieces and sell and
What show are you canceling?
New Smyrna Beach. I never did it before.
Yeah, I would cancel it.
The thing is, the woman that runs it has tried it for a few years to get me to come and do the show. And I kept saying, no, I got something else that weekend. So when I applied, she sent me a note saying, oh, we're so glad to have you, blah, blah, blah. So now I have to,
Yeah, but they might have a lot of empty spaces.
They might, because the weather's been shitty everywhere.
Right.
I mean, look at how dark these pieces are behind me.
Yeah, you can light them in Photoshop.
It isn't just that would be really good, except the problem with that is you can't like put them out like that, you know?
Yeah, I know.
I know it disappoints Oscar because, you know, he's looking forward to seeing me, and Oscar, it's going to be another year. Oscar needs friends. There was a party, and
I'd say Oscar's probably in better shape with friends than you are.
I don't know about that. Hey, listen. Only my friends, actually not only, give me a hard time and tease me mercilessly. So, Court, I consider that to be a positive. Besides, how could go wrong? The Lions actually won a playoff game. It's amazing.
Don't know. What's a playoff game?
What's a Lion?
No, you're one of those. It's called football, you know. As opposed to football. Football is you play it kicking the ball with your feet and into a goal.
I heard that on the news they said the Steelers have to go in and empty their lockers out. So I guess they lost. I don't.
They got clobbered. They didn't do very well.
Yeah,
I watched part of that game.
I didn't. I don't watch any of that.
I quit doing sports when I stopped having to do sports.
You mean participate or shoot?
Shoot.
Did you work for a newspaper or something?
Yeah.
Cool. And that was your assignment? Go shoot the...
Yeah, I would do high school and college. I would go do high school. I would do 2 rural high school games every Friday night.
Cool.
So I'd go catch, depending upon how far apart they were, I'd go catch the first quarter and a half of one, jump in a car, drive anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes to the next one and catch the,
Second half.
middle of the third quarter, and last quarter. And this was in the days of film, and I swear there was one town, one high school I went to that they had like 4 poles, and each pole had a 100-watt light bulb on the top of it, and that was about all the light they had on the high school football fields.
Oh, wow.
It was a lot of fun to photograph.
And that was at night, so I guess it was at night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that was like a high-speed Ektachrome, which was ASA 160, pushed a stop and a half. Right.
No, this was Tri-X pushed to somewhere
16.
north of 1600.
Right.
Hey, Court, I have a question because something came up I thought was really interesting. There's a Disney has a new series called The Edge, I think it's called. No, that's something else. Echo. I don't know what it's called, something like that. But it takes place in Oklahoma in a small Indian town. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
What I'm wondering is is Oklahoma like that? You drive out into the hinterland, it's all little towns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kansas is
I mean-
like that. Kansas is like that too.
There's parts of California like that.
Yeah, there's parts of every state like that.
Yeah, but I mean this was very ethnic to a certain degree. It was Choctaw Indians.
Yeah, I worked in Oklahoma for an ambulance company, and
Mhm.
one of the EMTs I worked with was Native American,
Mhm.
and she was telling me about a call they had where they were taking a patient back home, and the patient was Native American, and her partner was not Native American, and they basically wouldn't let him in their house.
Really?
They let him in to bring the patient in and unload the patient, and then he took the stretcher out by himself, and she stayed in and got the patient settled. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
if
unusual.
if it's like that, it'd be interesting to just drive around and end up in these places. You think they'd be hostile to the old white guy, or it'd be fine?
Some are, some aren't.
Yeah.
Depends upon where you go and what you're doing. Did you, if you haven't read it, you should read or see Killers of the Flower Moon.
Okay.
That book is set in and around Fairfax, Oklahoma, and that's one of the places I went a few times when I was working for the CMS company, and it's about 100 miles from where I live.
Yeah, this little place I think was called Tonawanda or something like that.
Tonkawa?
Maybe. Yeah.
But that's on the way to Dallas.
Tonka was off I-35, not far off I-35.
Yeah, and then like that's like going to Dallas, like which is
Yeah.
the
I don't know where the Choctaw tribe is in Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's where it took place. And I'm sure the whole thing was fictional, but there was a lot of the spirituality and the religious thing and all that. So
No,
What's was it Twister, the tornado movie that was set in,
Yeah.
that was filmed in Oklahoma, a little tiny town in Oklahoma. Let's see. See if I can find out where the Choctaw tribe is.
hey, Kristen.
Hey guys.
Not speaking. You have laryngitis today? Oh, in this
She's
movie
muted.
they all signed. The hero of the movie was couldn't hear. So they all signed. It was kind of interesting. But it was the area and the culture that I thought was really great. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
There are, yeah, there's a lot of places like that in a little small towns in Oklahoma, small towns in Kansas.
Hmm.
In Kansas, the small towns are about 20 miles apart. Because 20 miles is what they could cover in one day in a horse and wagon.
Really cool.
I'm sitting here looking about the Choctaw tribe. Choctaw is in southeastern Oklahoma.
Okay.
So it would not be Tonkawa. Tonkawa was in north central Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'm sure it was like a fictitious name. The whole thing was fictitious.
And southeastern Oklahoma, you get down to the southeastern corner of the state, and it is beautiful country. It's mountains.
Yeah, it looked nice.
I went to a funeral there once. It's the only time I've been in southeast Oklahoma. It's one of my funny funeral stories.
Oh God, it's going to rain again. Seriously. What's wrong with Florida?
Hey, that reminds me, that's another reason not to do a show, to not do the show next weekend. The advanced forecast is 50s.
Well, that's you're not coming down this week. It's the week after this one. It should be nice by then.
Well, I know that's what that's what I'm saying. No, I think that's, you get a 10-day forecast, so or longer, the 2-week forecast. So at the end of that.
It looks nice after this weekend. It's going to be cold, but it's nice.
Yeah, that's right. Well, not the show isn't this weekend, it's the weekend after. So
Well, we're getting rain this weekend. So, again,
Yeah, I don't want to see it rain anymore.
We've had 4 days of ice and cold temperatures, and we're about to have another freezing rain. So it's been a little hairy out here.
in theory, it hasn't been down to freezing here, but I think some of the breezes that went through were, extra cold blast, because I had some loquats developing that are all kind of shrivelly now, and
Out here on the Oregon coast, the power poles were snapping from the cold. So we've had a lot of Oregon has had power outages for the past 4 days. And before the storm hit, I was at the grocery store, and the woman behind me was saying, yep, all the PUD trucks were rolling into town getting organized because they were anticipating power outages. And I was thinking, holy moly, better lay in a few more supplies. And I was right. It's just like everybody's been without power. We feel pretty fortunate that we have some backup systems to get through a power outage like this.
I don't know. It was
we have solar and a battery backup for it, so
That's
That-
great.
helps. Because last time there was a short outage, it wasn't even noticeable. It was a smooth off-on clicking between
Yeah.
grid and
Yeah. We're still pretty much doing country living. We have the wood stove, we have the generator, but we did install a whole house generator, so at least we can run the refrigerator.
yeah.
But
was
in
bad.
about half an hour, we're supposed to have another round of freezing rain across the whole state, which is not good.
No,
freezing rain. That's a heat wave. It was 6 below this morning when I was out.
That's pretty cold.
Try that.
Yeah, you're used to it. I'm not.
I'm not used to it. I hate it. What are you talking about? I
Well,
was not in a good mood.
you get used to being ready for it.
Well, there are people that are used to being ready for it. I'm not one of them. I refuse to get ready for to be ready for that.
Yeah.
I'm ready for shorts and a t-shirt. That's what I'm ready for.
Well, go stand out next to your kiln.
You know, it was so cold that it didn't matter. It didn't radiate out
Oh.
far enough.
So my sister is in southern Missouri, a place called Nevada, and her husband has brothers with cattle farms. And somebody brought a new calf home to put in the basement so it wouldn't freeze to death because it's really cold where they are.
Yeah, they had that. They've had that problem here because I'm about Nevada is probably about 5 or 6 hours due east of where I am.
Mm-hmm.
And out in western Kansas, especially north central and northwestern Kansas, it was cold and snowy, and they were talking about having to deal with a lot of calves.
Yes. Yep. It's unfortunate.
Our neighbors lost 2 calves last year when it got really cold around Christmas last year.
Hmm. Well, I thought it was rather exceptional. This family decided to put the calf in their family basement. So, you know, they're doing everything they can to keep them alive.
I've grown up with goats in the laundry room, baby goats in the laundry room in the winter.
Yeah, I've had goats, but not in the laundry room, right?
Well, it was the same thing. It was, in Texas, and it was cold and icy, and didn't know where the mother was, so it
Mhm.
came in the house and got fed.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. So, Court, I noticed there was an appeal out for some people to volunteer to be on a panel about being a juror.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about that?
We've been doing every other week. We've been doing NAI happy hour, and we've had different topics. We're doing it tonight, and we're going to talk about what's the topic is the one thing you want to tell a new artist. And then in 2 weeks, we're doing one where I've got Bonnie Blanford, Sharon Tanner, Cindy Lyric, Stephen King, Seth Lewis, and Richard Faulkner lined up, and it's going to be Ask a Director. And people are going to be able to ask directors, their questions about shows. And then the one you're talking about is Ask a Juror, which is kind of a follow-up on that. And I'm looking for 6 artists or 6 people who have been jurors to be on a panel, and it's going to be highly moderated. People will be able to ask questions online, and then during the Zoom, if they want to ask a question, they will submit it via chat to one of our moderators, who will then send it to me and I'll ask it.
So does being a mock juror count?
Oh, I don't know.
Sure.
So
Do you still need jurors?
What's that?
Do you still need jurors?
I'm compiling a list of people right now to pick from. So yeah.
I've been a juror quite a few times.
Okay. There is a post on the NAI Facebook page,
Oh,
the
okay.
forum. Just go in there and post on that, or send me a message on Facebook. So I've got
About which?
everything in writing.
Okay, I'll do
And
that.
Chris, yeah. Anybody that's interested, yeah, do that. And like I said, I'm working on a list right now.
I was a little interested. I have been a juror several times. But I got a lot I'm doing right now as a board member, so I think I'll just watch the time.
Yeah, it'll be I think I put the date on there. I think it's going to be the last Tuesday in February. And that will be our last one. We're only doing these over the winter.
Mhm.
So we'll be picking them up again probably Thanksgiving of this year around that time.
So what do you look for in a good juror?
What am I looking for? I'm looking
Yeah.
for a variety of people with a variety of experience.
You know, I've juried some shows, but not enough. And I'd really like to jury more shows. And I have a good skill set. I'm good on paper. I've done a bunch of different things over
So
time.
I'm trying to, like my show directors, I tried to make sure I got different I tried to get people from different parts of the country, different size shows. I want to make sure one of the things I'm going to look at is I'm trying to get 6 people, hopefully 3 men, 3 ladies. And I'm also going to try and make sure all 6 are in different mediums. As far as jurors being from different parts of the country, I don't think that's as big a deal, but as it was for me to get show directors from different parts of the country.
Yeah. So when I was asked to be a juror for the St. Louis Art Fair, it wasn't until they asked me I realized that some of my background made me sort of an unusual candidate. I have a Bachelor in Fine Arts in clay, but my medium is fiber, wearable art. And I think that when you have artists that have a diverse background in their training, it makes them a better juror.
Yeah, that's a
And
good thing.
Yeah, I agree. The more diverse somebody's experience is, the more versatile they are, the more that they're, I think, my brain's gone today. They know more about different mediums and the differences and what, makes something special in a specific medium.
Yeah.
I think you could take that a little further too. Like how much time spent in museums, what kind of education they had, where they would learn things, uh, especially art history, knowing because we don't operate in a vacuum. Everything comes from something. And that's not to take away from people who are self-taught. That's its own category.
So, and then we're also kicking off our emerging artist workshop, hopefully this year.
That's great.
So is anybody going to be doing the Festival of the Arts in Oklahoma City?
Not anymore.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do and see what people think when it's a 4-day show. I'll be down there for part of it.
From my experience, it was really a 1 or 2 day show. It was 6 days, but really the business was all done in a couple of days. But it was different every year because the weather could, change. So sometimes like one year, every day was 90 degrees. Another time it was one day was 90, one day was 60, one day it rained, one day it was, too hot. So it just depended on the day or the 2 days. At least for me, most of my sales happen in one day. So you stand around for the rest of the time.
It's Oklahoma in the spring. If you're there for 6 days, you're going to get 6 different types of weather.
Actually, I like that. I thought that was fun. I did a review on Art Fair Insider, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, where I was standing there with all my clothes that I brought, winter clothes, with a plastic bag over my shoulders to stay dry. and I told a story about being there for 6 days.
I
don't
don't know
think- you know
why
what?
I never tried one before, but this year I got a space blanket and I could not believe how warm it was.
Yeah. Was that electrified?
No, space blanket, just the cheap Mylar sheets that you
Oh,
buy for $2 or $3 at Walmart in the camping section.
cool. So it insulated, it kept your heat in.
Oh yeah.
It's recommended you have one in your glove box.
You
Oh,
mean
really?
in case you break down on the highway in 0
Yeah,
degrees?
and it's
Yes.
also reflective, so you can attract attention too.
Ah,
They're usually orange on one side and shiny
Silver.
Mylar on the other. And I know photographers that use them as big light reflectors. But we always carried them on the ambulance. That was required equipment on the ambulance.
They're passing them out down at the border too, to people on the other side of the fencing.
You can buy them in bulk from on Amazon for about $2 a pop. They're like $19 for a pack of 10. And they fold up real tiny. But once you unfold them, it's like the old paper maps. Once they're out of the bag, they're not going back in.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, gotta go let my dog in.
I got all sorts of deliveries today, so I'm sitting here opening up. It's kind of like Christmas at my house.
Nice.
I'm opening up all my goodies.
Well, the mail can't be delivered where we are. It's just stopped.
You know, I can deal with cold. I can deal with snow. I don't deal with ice. If it ices, I don't go out.
That's smart.
No, you can get hurt.
Yep, I've fallen. I've done all sorts of weird stuff on ice.
I would like to thank all of you for the mock jury with Larry. And thank you for your feedback. My gut told me what I thought was happening, and you did reinforce that. And once this ice storm has thawed, I am scheduled for a second photo shoot with a different photographer. So I'm looking forward
I
to.
thought you were going to use the same photographer.
Nope. I talked to my magazine friend and she put me in touch with someone who's done hair and makeup for Hollywood, but she also is a photographer.
Oh, okay.
And I think
That's
I'm going to use a model I've worked with in the past. She's available. And we're going to start over.
Was yours the fiber?
Yeah.
Where you had like the
heads-
red.
The head's
red
cut off.
lips.
Yeah.
All I can
Yeah.
think of is those red lips.
Yeah, the mock jury was good.
Yeah. It was definitely worth it to participate. It doesn't matter how experienced you are. I guess, my goal was to get new images because it's been 3 years since I've had a photo shoot, if not longer. It's hard. I think it's particularly difficult for wearable artists because you have to have the model's got to work, the lighting's got to work, the styling's got to work, and I just make the work, In some ways, I wish I could just put it on a hanger and photograph it, but
On a dress form.
You know,
yeah, it's just not the same without an actual human body, and which is the whole point of doing
Really?
this. It's the sculptural part.
Yeah, I make jewelry and I don't use model shots for my jury images, but when I'm posting it online, on my website, I like to have, 10 images, some of them being worn. And of course, I don't have a model, so I have to be the model. And usually I'm feeling like, I don't want to be in any picture. So those are always the, when you have to have those done. I think it'd be really hard.
Well, then there's a difference between photos for jury and photos for, promotional uses.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what makes a good jury shot kind of ruins it as a, promotional shot. And what makes it a good promotional shot, the backgrounds and, the other styling you've done with it, is not what you want in a jury shot.
Yeah, we see that a lot in the guild. I'm on the jury committee for the guild, and it seems like all the new, and a lot of them aren't even new, but maybe they're newer to fine art fairs. They've been doing a lot of other kinds of fairs, and they use what we call either Etsy or Instagram shots with a lot of props in the shots, and they're nice shots, they're great for Instagram or Etsy, but just not for jury.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
distraction.
Mhm.
people
If they
don't
actually went to college, which is a toss up, uh, at a certain point, not recently, but before Etsy and all that, the image was supposed, and you did art fairs, the image was supposed to float in space. There was nothing around it. It was kind of white background, and you just saw the piece, and the idea is no shadows and just see the true piece,
Mhm.
you know, how it's changed from then.
Hey, Karen, I'm gonna change my background image to a piece I photographed this week for a weaver.
Mhm.
So how do I?
Actually, I thought the mock jury was a little boring because everybody's been listening to us. So the images, or so the the was so much better than it, at least definitely from the first time. Most of them are
But
pretty good.
you
Yeah.
guys between the three of you, you're always thinking of four of you, I should say, always thinking of everything, like every little nitpicky thing that a juror could possibly find.
Hey, Karen.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, can you
There
see
you
the?
go.
Not
That's
me.
at least it looks like it went away. But I have to go back, maybe look at my screen differently. It looks like it's on a human body. I like that a lot better than the um stick that you might have used last time.
No, I never use the stick. I use a black dress form, and I use rods on either side to support the arms to give it more of a human feel.
Well, it looks better. I like it. Yeah, that reads like it's meant for the human body. Good job. Yeah, you see the work and you see the detail, and it doesn't detract from it. That's great.
The only thing is you can't show motion.
Yes, yeah, I know. Yeah, that's my particular challenge, right?
Right.
But that can be an advantage because sometimes following the motion can be a challenge.
Yeah. Teresa, did you watch the mock jury last week?
I watched part of it.
Did you see, Karen usually includes one jury image where the model has swung around and part of the garment flies out.
That was the older one,
Yeah, the
Yeah.
red coat. Mhm.
and that did in particular appeal to me.
if you want movement, Larry, why don't you get a couple fans?
I had fans. They were sitting there clapping.
I thought your fans just barked.
Uh,
And actually, while I was in the middle of it was only one garment. And while I was in the middle of it, my friend Sandy just shows up without unannounced. So I had 3 fans.
Ah,
I was
Oh.
reading an article about some car exhibit. Don't remember, but it was something to do with convertibles, and they had a place set up with one of the cars where you were going to be able to do a photo. They had fans set up so you could get in the car and they would turn the fans on so you could do a photo in the car and it looked like you were driving down the highway.
Right. And the car was really on a flatbed truck with cameras around it.
cool.
I just got cool stuff today. So I'm going to turn my
What is it?
What is it?
NAIA postcards, podcast on the back, and stickers. Podcast and NAIA stickers.
Cool.
With a big red dot on it.
If you're doing Florida shows, you may see those in your booth packet. I have to find my picture again. There it is.
So if Art in the High Desert wanted some of those stickers for their artist packet, would that be a good fit?
It would.
Okay.
Let me know how many you need, and I can arrange getting those to you.
Okay, we got time. We're not quite there yet.
We just got a print run, and I'm sure that we're going to do another print run before it comes time for your show.
Okay. I'll mention it to the board.
Yeah, just give me as much, if you want to do it, just give me as much lead time and tell me, since I'll make sure that we get them done again before then.
Sure. So how many shows do you do where they give the artist swag?
It's been going down lately. I don't know if I really did any last year that did it.
Yeah, there might have been one. You know, in fact, they don't give out T-shirts anymore.
Mm-mm. Well, last year, Art in the High Desert gave out 2 of the orange screws for security plant in the ground. They were well received.
Hmm.
It's a better design of those for staking out on the ground. Desert's always had the history of giving out interesting swag.
Yeah, nothing like an art
think
show
last-
T-shirt that's not white.
I want a T-shirt.
Yeah.
I think what I got last year was a nice water. I got a nice water bottle from Oklahoma City last year.
Mm-hmm.
Nice stainless
yeah.
steel, not water bottle, but insulated tumbler.
Yeah.
It goes with my little insulated drink cup from Cherry Creek a few years ago.
Yeah, Cherry Creek has a nice thing,
So
and
my-
so does Des Moines.
My next question is, what do you think is good swag?
I think some
Anything.
kind of bottle is good swag.
Anything you don't have to pay for.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
sticker. crackers or
I know I've done a couple of shows where they've given out water bottles because they don't come around with individual bottled water. They come around with
Yeah.
a big 5-gallon
Yeah.
You know,
pump
that's a
bottle.
good, that's an
Forestry.
extremely good thing now. With all the science, there's like so many microparticles in the bottled water. If you actually read any of the articles, you would never drink water out of a bottle, plastic bottle again.
Well, is tap water better?
No
Yes.
plastic in it. It's the plastic.
Yeah,
It's the,
yeah. There's plastic in the tap water too.
Yeah.
Well,
can't be the
not-
same though.
No, it's less, but
Well, where do you think they get the bottled water from?
around
Yeah,
here,
but it's sitting, no, it's sitting in the plastic.
so many people here have water bottles. You give them one and they go, "Oh, how nice, another water bottle."
I want
So
a t-shirt. Give me clothes.
T-shirt
It's
without,
advertising.
but not a white t-shirt.
Karen, one thing I've seen that I don't know if I got it, if the show was just selling it or if they gave them away, but you know those little like neck wraps that you soak in water that have the beads in them?
Mhm.
Yeah. for
I've seen the
cooling.
show do those before.
To keep cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are nice if
Mhm.
the weather's hot at your show.
I like snacks.
Mhm.
Prazel gave that really nice snack bag in 2021. I could eat it the whole show. I didn't have to get any food.
Yeah.
Eating
Remember that
snacks.
free?
They did
Eating-
that the year I was, and they had local snacks too. They had Michigan specific and local stuff.
Yeah,
They were-
I wasn't that impressed with it, but I remember you, Kristen, going, "Yeah, that's really great. I wonder if I can get another one."
Yeah, the next year I didn't get any snacks on the way to the show, and I planned on, an
And of
Snack
course, they
bag.
didn't have any.
They didn't have it that year. They must not have had. I'm thinking they got donations or something. I have no idea, but
You know, it's a little disappointing when you do certain shows over a period of time and you get less and less stuff. You bring up Crassel. There used to be like after setup on the first day, there was a meet and greet, which there is now, but there was actually food. And now there are food trucks. You could buy the food.
yeah.
Yeah. Howard
Well-
Allen
The reason
used to
they,
have
do you know why they went to the
Costco's.
snack bags? The one that I did it one year, and I think it was 2021 when I did it. was
Yeah.
Because of COVID, and they didn't want to have gatherings and all that, so they did the
Oh,
snack bags
cool.
instead of the dinner or whatever.
That was excellent. I still had some left over to eat on the way home and into the week.
Yeah, Howard Allen used to have Costco's give away their muffins.
Yeah, that's right. One year, I think Coconut Grove gave out muffins and they had way too many. So at the end of the show, they were actually giving out, cases of packs of muffins. And I ended up over on Miami Beach by the water, and there where all the homeless people had come down from the north to hang out there. And I saw some homeless people rooting through the garbage. So I said,
Eating
"Here."
muffins.
So I gave them muffins. I gave these people muffins because I just couldn't take watching them get scraps out of a trash box. Trash thing.
Yeah.
Hi, Allison.
Hi there.
Allison might know this. There's some result coming out today for Oscar. Do you guys
Yes, it's Jazz Fest today.
know? Oh, has it happened yet?
No, and I don't think Oscar applied to that.
No,
So
it's not on
it
my
must be
budget.
something else.
I
Did
did.
you apply to Jazz Fest, Barry?
I did. Yes. Oh, I don't know if I got in, but Now I'll get on the wait list, which means I didn't get in.
Who's gonna be the big musical act there
Rolling
Rolling
Stones, I heard.
Stones.
this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one weekend of the Rolling Stones. I don't know the other weekend.
But there's so much great music. It doesn't matter.
Still,
Although no Jimmy Buffett.
I mean, I figure, you know, there's a 50-50 chance of getting in or not. And
Really?
we'll
more like
see.
a 10% chance.
No,
Yeah.
50-50 chance with all things being equal, aside from people who've been
Oh.
accepted previously, right?
Oh, I see.
I mean,
yeah.
yeah. So
Well,
I'm not talking about the percentage, but
which section though?
well, we're talking about contemporary art.
Right,
There's
Yeah.
the Louisiana artists, there's the African Village, and then contemporary art. So
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't pass for the African Village.
No.
Well, you could if you tell them you import your pots.
Dye my hair.
No, you don't. It
I
doesn't.
don't.
All you have
I
to
don't
do is
know.
import.
I have not been to the show before, but the rules are pretty strict regarding the artwork. So
You import them from Michigan.
Yeah, I knew there was some rejection coming out today.
you never know.
The
I mean,
one I
that's why
care
you-
about, well, besides Coconut, besides Cherry Creek, which is obvious, is Milwaukee Lakefront. That's one I
Oh,
really
right.
want to do.
That was good for you, wasn't it?
It was fun. Yeah, it was good. Even though I
I
had the
didn't
worst
apply.
space in the show.
Well, I didn't apply this year because it was my worst show of the year, and I got in automatically because I had won an award. But
Which show is this, Allison?
Lakefront in Milwaukee Art Museum.
You know,
Okay.
I hope they move those spaces. I didn't
Yeah,
like that.
so-
That row
so-
was terrible.
Right. The show came back after the pandemic just in 2023. Communications were kind of slow. And from what I understand from other artists, the load in was a cluster. For me, I was actually late, like I was within my time frame, but on the later part of it. And so it was very easy to load in. I just have a Subaru Forester also, so it's not a big deal. But the show used to be 2 rows that face each other. Well, this year it was 2 rows facing each other, and then one like shorter row facing the lake, and the food was there, and it was a little, I don't know, of an afterthought. Now, in the past, they used to allow, I don't know, 30 or 40 artists inside the museum, and it was gorgeous. Marble floors, beautiful sight lines, and I loved being in there. It was a little slower, but I mean, like my booth was right in front of a Chihuly sculpture, and some artist told me the woman who bought the sculpture was like or donated it was right there, and it was definitely, but even for outside, everyone was facing each other with like the road in between, and so I don't know how other people did on my row, but it was just, I don't know.
You know,
Strange.
they cut off a section. It could have gone down farther, and then with all those people, of which I actually I was one of those people. with me, listen, with me, it was probably the worst space I've ever had, because
Really?
I was, there's that whole row of, Allison, and where you were facing
But
the,
you were like
and then there was a
assigned.
space, and then I was by myself.
Right,
I was
that's
alone.
true.
And I'll tell you something, I put my booth sideways to face the opening, because if I had it the other way, I would have been facing the rib shack or whatever, some sort of barbecue thing, and nobody would have come into my booth. So I kind of saved it, but boy, I don't want to be on that line ever
Well, who knows
again.
what they'll do? Who knows what they'll do this year? It was the weather was perfect all weekend. It's a little
Mhm.
cold for some people, but sunny and bright.
Yeah, it was nice.
Allison, do you have an ecologic sweater on?
I do.
I have some of those. I love those.
I do too. And she was my neighbor at Lakefront, actually.
So
So it's just
convenient
funny.
to buy your
Well,
clothes.
I didn't get it from her this time. When I first did the Milwaukee show, it was so cold. I bought a sweater from her, and I don't know how many years ago that was, but
Yeah, I got one in Columbus one year. It
uh-huh.
was better than hell, but I thought, I forgot I didn't get one at the last show. I better
Mhm.
get it now. Who knows when I'm gonna see you again.
Right. Yeah, I wear them all the time. Her sweaters. As much as
Mhm.
I hate winter, it makes it a little nicer.
It does. Well, I got this email from Lakefront through Zap saying that
Mhm.
the deadline was January 12th.
Mhm.
So I got on Zap, went to finish my application, and it said deadline passed. The deadline was December something.
Yeah, it was December. It
So
was
I
way
think
earlier.
I think that was a glitch. How could I get an email like that? I emailed Zap and they said, "Oh, that's up to the show. We have nothing to do with that." And
That's
then
weird.
I tried emailing the show and I didn't, they were closed on Friday um from from the weather, and I never got a response. So I guess I'll
When I've
just try next
when
year.
when I've emailed them for questions about the show, I have never gotten a response.
Yeah.
So,
They're not good at responding.
I feel like it must have been some kind of a glitch, that I got an email like
It,
that.
it
well,
might,
it's worth checking out. I once I got a letter, what was it, saying so Old Town, I don't know if they do it anymore, but they kind of pre-jury people aside from awards. And I got the letter saying you've made it through this jury, you don't have to apply to the show. And then something, and then that was a glitch. It was a mistake. And I will, and I decided, okay, I won't do the show this year. And then when it came time to pay the booth fee, they asked if I was interested because I was, or something like that. And I said, well, you told me it was a mistake. And they actually said, okay, well, it was, I don't know, too late for that year or something. And then they did work with me and they said, okay, well, you could do it the next year then. We'll do this one time for you, which was
Yeah.
unbelievable. Now it's a different, somebody else is running it, but it's worth asking because, if you thought it was January 12th and then it was December, I mean,
could have been
not your,
the emerging artist section closed in January.
Oh, well, it said
I don't
they
know.
said we see that you started your application. Just a reminder, the deadline is January 12th. And I got it like sometime January 12th was Friday. I got it sometime earlier in the week. I looked up my application. I thought, well, I'll just finish it later. And then I went back on the morning of the 12th and the application was closed. And so I emailed Zap, I emailed the show, I tried calling the show, but the museum was closed that day.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
I never
Kristen,
back. Yeah.
did you do what I suggested that you do?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So I sent 2 emails to the show.
Yeah. I doubt whether you
Did
hear
you,
from them right away.
do you have the letter that they sent? Was it to your
Yes.
email?
Yep.
Okay.
I
And you sent that to them?
Yes, I
Good.
screenshot of it and sent it. So yeah, who knows?
Hey, let me tell you my story with them from last year. They weren't taking applications, and I just thought, I'll just write to them and say, hey, I've done this in the past. There has to be people canceling, so if I've got an empty space, let me know. Didn't hear from them till like 3 days before the show, and they wrote me and said, "Hey, we got a space if you want it." You know, so I took the space, but I didn't even apply, and they
Wow.
and they let
I,
me know at the last minute. So
and you
that
didn't
was
even apply. Wow. That's amazing. Um, I once had to cancel a show. Actually, it was Crested Butte. And and it was last minute. my father-in-law was dying, and they never filled my space. But there's always somebody waiting, and it was not the last day of the show. It was probably a week before, and there's always someone, some artist is waiting in the wings, ready to
Yeah.
pounce.
I've done that plenty. You go to the show, there's always cancellations. And the idea is they'd rather fill the space than have an empty space because the empty space doesn't look good. So they'll give
Right.
you the space. And if it's a promoter, they want the money. So they'll take your money.
Mhm.
If you want
But
to
if
do
they're
a show
taking-
badly enough,
If they're taking money for a space, they should give back the money to the other person who canceled, though, because they shouldn't be taking
yeah,
money for two
that-
spaces.
that's funny because that's been established for a long time. That double dipping.
Right.
There's an artist I know in Kansas City who does a plaza almost every year and never applies.
You're kidding.
Nope. He lives in Kansas City. He
Mhm.
likes being by the music, and they
they
know that they can call him up. The day of they can call him up on Friday if they have an open space. They can call him up on Friday and say, "Hey," and he'll show up.
Yeah, but what if there's someone on the wait list who also would show up? That person should come first because they applied.
Yeah, should. Keyword is should.
I know.
But how many people on the wait list for something like the plaza are that close? I actually live in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Probably not a lot.
Well, if they live a half hour away, though.
Even if they live like 8 hours away and they drive there and they let them know that they're there.
On Friday afternoon. Well, yeah, if they let them know they're
Yeah.
there ahead of time, but
You have to let them know. You can't just be standing around. You got to go, hey,
Yeah,
I just drove 8 hours, and if you have a space, I'm on the wait list. I want the space.
Yeah, but how many people want to be
It
set up
works.
next to the stage?
Not me.
Well, you
Some
can. They'll say,
some
okay,
prefer it. Some prefer it.
I
this
don't
artist
know.
prefers it.
Not
He says
me.
Right.
he has better
No,
sales.
but-
He has better sales in that area.
Maybe.
I know
I hate
I've
it.
got a friend also who likes to be near the music. So some people prefer it, which is fine, which is great.
My experience is people congregate in front of my booth looking at the stage, and you can't let people in to look at the artwork. So to me, it's blockage. They're blocking, and it's a distraction. And then you can't talk to them because the music's so loud.
It was Prairie Village. When I did it, there were a couple people that had booths. I mean, across the aisle from the food, and you couldn't even get down the aisle because of people in line for the food, much less into their booths.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Did you do Prairie Village recently, Court?
Yes.
How'd
Last
it go?
year. Last year. Won't go
How was-
back.
Yeah, I wondered.
Where is it?
Kansas City.
Oh,
I do well. Well, I've done well at other Kansas City shows, but I've never done well at Prairie Village. And I tried it last year because I had not done a show in Kansas City for several years. And it was kind of a mess setting up because there was no control. And, you're trying to set up and people are trying to drive by in an area they're not supposed to be driving through.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised a couple people got out because they drove into the middle of the show and then people set up, and right where they drove in.
Yeah. Who's running that show now?
I don't know. It has changed several times.
Okay.
Since
did you apply to?
since Donna Potts quit doing it, I don't know. Like I said, it's the people running it have changed multiple times.
Did you apply to Brookside?
Yes, I did.
I hope you get in. I remember that was a good show. That's where I first met you. And you were kind enough. That was the first show I flew to. And you were kind enough to bring some chairs for me. Thank you.
Yeah, I like Brookside. I've always done well at Brookside. I just never, after the 2 years I did it, I never could get back in.
which is ridiculous.
That's the show. That's the only show that I've not ever gotten into that I've
I've never
applied to
that either.
Really?
ever.
So that I have to say, last year that show, or was it the year before? I've noticed in the last 2 years, some of the work at the show is, I don't know, questionable. You know, overall it's good quality, but I'm not understanding like who runs it now. So,
Donna, for far as I know, Donna Potts still runs Brookside.
but she's not. I don't think she's the director for it though.
Just film them. I replaced me. Shh.
I think she is.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I could be wrong. For some reason,
She
I
gave
thought.
up doing Brookside. I'm not. She gave up doing
Prairie
Prairie Village
Got it.
because they're both because it's put on by the owner. The people. It's like the Plaza, where the people that own the shopping center do the show.
Oh, okay. I didn't
And the
understand
same
that.
company owns both shopping centers. That's why Donna did both shows.
Got it. Okay, I got it. So, I mean, it's you know, the hours are long, but it's a relatively easy show to do, and then there's no other distractions, which is really nice. And I stay with a friend who's walking distance, so that's really amazing. But well, you know, last year a lot of shows were kind of off, so
Yeah, I'm not going to apply to it this year. I've applied to it many, many years and I've never gotten in. It's a long way to go to.
and where are you again?
I'm in Michigan near Ann Arbor.
Oh yeah. That's pretty long.
Prairie
It's like a
Village,
12-hour drive.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Prairie Village this year, there were a few artists that I talked to that did okay, but most of the artists I talked to did not have a good show at Prairie Village.
I mean, you know, honestly, this year, from a lot of people I've spoken to, and including myself, 2023, I should say, things were down. So, yeah.
For me, 2023 started okay, but then went downhill.
Yeah. Yep.
I had a phenomenal show in Ann Arbor, and then everything else was down.
And the thing is, you know, all things being equal, I mean, you know, it's just, I mean, the shows I did, most of the weather was great. There were crowds, but you know, it's this gamble though, because sometimes I think, I mean, I like in November, I made an amazing sale in my studio. It was like a really great art fair with this one couple that came into my studio that cost me 2 hours of my time. But you never know. That's the thing. And so you know, I apply to all these shows, and there's a certain percentage I'll get into, and a certain that I won't. But then again, you never know. You know, the year, let's see, not 2022, I only did 4 shows, but I had a great year. Where I did, I don't know, at least 8 shows and then open studios and a bunch of, and it wasn't as good. So, I mean, you know, it's the business model is not the best, I think, for our world.
Yeah. Oscar, I like your camper. Is that your camper?
Yep.
Are you gonna hang art in it?
No.
How long have you had it?
Officially, I had it since November.
Let's see it.
Oh yeah, can we get a tour?
Yeah.
It's nothing
Give
to
us
see.
a tour.
There's nothing to see.
Is it messy?
No, you know me. It's no, it's really organized. That's the bad. That's the rest.
Very nice. You need some
Yeah.
artwork in there. Maybe we should all draw pictures and send them to you so you can put them on the wall.
No, because I will put it. If anybody does that, I'm sorry. I will take the pieces and put it in the dumpster.
Aw.
And
Put
I'm
it
not
on
joking
a
about
refrigerator.
it.
But we're artists.
Doesn't matter.
Well, that must be nice to have your own place to sleep and you don't have to worry about hotels and all that.
Well, it's just a nice place to be settled and not have to stress out about it anymore.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The band
Yeah,
is more than
good.
just what for the show, no, with everything.
Who's coming
When's your
to,
next? Sorry.
oh, I was just gonna say, who's coming to do the garage sale?
Not me. I'll
No,
be
but
in Naples.
I would love to, but it's a little far for me. And yeah. So
it
I,
is.
I really
So Allison, do you have $5 and $10 items?
no, I don't. But I
Yeah,
have
you probably. Go on.
I don't know. I have jewelry that's from the archives. And
That might have been a
Artful
little
Home,
harsh.
what?
What I said might have been a little harsh because Steve
Oh.
Uren does it and he does great.
He
He probably does
does.
And
better than
is he
anybody else.
selling $100 and up items?
Yeah, he's selling
Yeah.
full pieces of furniture at, you know,
Wow.
they're discounted, but
Right,
um,
of course.
you know, there are pieces that are like serious discounts, like $5 mugs and
Right.
you know
Yeah, I
things.
couldn't compete with that. There's too much
See,
clay and it's all really cheap.
I feel like it could be, I feel like it could be good. I mean, I have all this jewelry that is, there's nothing wrong with it and it's not worth melting down. They're nice pieces, but they're past designs and I've got some sea glass jewelry and things like that. And yes, you have to price things to sell. I know
Mhm.
that Artful Home has a sale also that somebody told me I should check out. They have it twice a year. And because it would be in my old studio, I used to have at certain studio events, I'd have from the archives, and people would buy, like, nothing was so cheap, but they would buy a $600 necklace that really should have been $1,200, and
Mhm.
it's a nice way to move things along, and with pieces that are just they're too good to take apart.
Yeah.
Well, if they're
So with
just sitting there, that's dead money.
Yeah,
the Artful Home one would be online then?
it would be, but I feel like that the garage sale one, I bet there's a fever going on when people come in there, especially if they're there to spend.
It is. And I don't feel like it's a show that you can necessarily do every year, but
Right.
it's like
I-
I had a huge bucket of glass beads that were, like my career 20 years of rejects that just weren't good enough to put into my jewelry, and I was having people fill up a little box for like bucks, and people were
Mhm.
lined at my booth to buy these
Yeah,
and I got rid of every single one of them. It was
that's
amazing.
Wow.
I can
That's
attest.
great.
I went by Kristen's booth and she had all this junk. It's like, oh my God. And then I went back a couple hours later and there was nothing. It was all gone.
Yeah, I sold because I used to blow glass too
Mhm.
before I made glass beads. So all of my class from my glass blowing class, like all my little, slumped over vases and, glass projects, I sold all those, and you're allowed to sell art that you bought from other people too.
That's
So
that's what I understand.
it's fun. It's fun, but
Mhm.
you can't necessarily do it every year because,
Right.
have stuff to clearance like that, but
And where is it again? I know it's in Michigan, but where?
Kalamazoo, Michigan.
ew.
Oh, Kalamazoo is near what?
Grand
Kalamazoo.
Rapids,
Grand Rapids. Okay,
Grand
got it.
Rapids, yeah.
Yeah.
in between Grand Rapids and Michigan City, Indiana.
Oh, yes, I know exactly where. So there's probably not a direct flight. But anyway, it's, do they give you tables or do you bring your
Yeah,
own?
you
You
can,
can get, I think it's $5 a table if you want.
Yeah,
in
because
they encourage you to just have like a garish looking tacky booth with, ugly signs, and it's just meant to be fun.
right. And it's so like it could be actually very easy as long as one can get there,
Mhm.
'cause of course jewelry is very compact. And yeah, anyway, I should think about what's the application? What do they want to see exactly? What are they looking for?
Your normal stuff. So like your booth should appear, to mostly have your own regular jewelry. You just use your regular jewelry images.
Oh, because this work is earlier, so like
That's
I used to
okay.
make
It
secret.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
It
Okay.
doesn't,
Doesn't
they're just,
matter.
you just,
So
you
Court,
ju-
you've gone to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
it's
gonna go. Well, I may go this year. I didn't.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna exhibit, but I may go.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
you should. I always go even if I'm not exhibiting, and I go shopping and get a lot of
Uh-huh.
good stuff.
So if you think about it, and I'll email you if you could know if there's any, if all the jewelry is $15, or if there's, I mean, because I have things that I would sell for, $50 to probably $600, and
There is some work there that's in the hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, it might work for you.
Ask Michelle Friedman. She's done it a
Oh.
number of times.
Okay, I will.
Personally, I do sell some of my regular stuff, like, at, a 25% discount, very little. Mostly I'm selling weird stuff, like
Uh-huh.
super old stuff, or
Mhm.
stuff that's not even mine, or, like I said, my blown glass that I made. You can sell tools too. So, it's anything goes, kind of.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well,
But ask
it sounds,
Elle, because she usually
I
has a
will.
nice display of her own work.
Okay. And the thing is, it's nice work. It's just not what I do now,
Yeah.
And so,
Well, nobody's going to know that,
well,
nor will they care, actually.
that part is the,
They're looking for a deal for something nice.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah, things are priced to sell. I understand.
My
Because,
problem
go ahead.
my problem is I'm driving up from Florida, so I don't have my junky stuff. I'm not going all the way back home and then coming back, so
Right.
I don't
Right.
have the proper stuff to sell
Yeah.
unless I want to give it away.
I might have to fly to Chicago. There's a
Chicago's
direct
not far
flight.
from there.
Chicago's
Right,
not far.
Right. It's like 2.5 hours or something
Not even.
in February.
I've done it 3 times, and out of the first time I did it, the weather there was better than the weather where I am in southern Kansas.
Mhm.
And the next time it was about the same. And last year was the only year I've ever been there where it snowed at all, and it didn't snow that much.
We
Right.
had ice storms or something, because half of Kalamazoo was out without power. Remember?
Yeah,
Yeah, and so
that was horrible.
they gave all of our hotel rooms away to the local people.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was fun. I ended up in the presidential suite at my hotel because they gave them away.
I won't tell you where I had to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the power had just come back on at the convention center too, like before we got there to set up.
Yeah, the storm was like a day or two before.
Yes. And it was an ice storm, kind of.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
then it snowed Friday night.
Well, people had the power got when the power went out, people went to hotels. So they grabbed them before any of us. In fact, there were people that had hotel rooms and they told them you can't stay or we're full up. And
that's
they
what they
didn't care.
and then they ended up giving me some really nice suite.
Cool.
Yeah.
I should have hung out with you. I would have slept on the floor. I don't care. At least
It was
it
a
would have been
huge,
warm.
it was ridiculous.
It was.
Yeah. Well, I debated about whether or not I wanted to do it this year, if I wanted to go shop, but I'm gonna do it.
And can you not do both? I mean, it's too busy to do that.
I'll do both. I'll be able to get some stuff.
You can do both, but the really good stuff goes really fast.
Hmm.
So you want to be there early. And the best thing to do is get set up and show up early the day and then walk it before it opens and go see what's out
Ah,
there and make
Yeah.
deals before the show
yes.
opens.
Hmm.
And the other thing is then you also do it right before closing time, because then that's when you get the really good deals, because like I was going, oh, want one of these? Here, take it.
Yeah, giving it away.
Well, I can understand that. So, but yeah, it's, if a piece is made mostly of silver, I mean, I just brought my silver from sterling silver from about 5 years worth of scraps in, and that really adds up. But, to melt down some pieces, it's not really worth it. And it seems like such a shame. So I'm going to keep that on my radar for next year. When do applications open? I'll put it in my calendar right now.
Around October.
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
early.
All right. I'll just put it on for September to look for.
I'll find you.
Thank you.
Hmm.
So the only thing that could be detrimental is if there's a major storm and I can't get there.
Right.
Or a major storm while you are there.
And then you have to stay.
Right.
Hey guys, I gotta go. We've got a ice storm coming and we gotta do some stuff, but nice seeing you.
Good
Bye-bye.
luck with everything.
Sure.
Bye, Karen.
You too.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Karen.
So how did the mock jury go?
Oh yeah, I'm looking around for someone to speak. I was the only one on the jury that's here. Okay. It's smooth. It went by real fast. It was almost boring because all the booths were so much better than in the past. There's not a whole lot of criticism. Even
That's
the
Larry's
images.
work.
What's that?
That's Larry's work.
The
That they're so much better.
the images were good. I mean, it was interesting.
Yeah, see,
Same.
the people that need the mock jury don't participate.
Well, Larry, after you did the mock jury, I noticed so many people posting on that page. It's like, do the mock jury.
I've gotten about 10 people that want to sign up for the next one already.
Uh-huh. Did you record it?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay. So
You can
is
watch
there
it.
a link somewhere? Because I'd like to listen sometime. I
Yeah,
listen, watch.
I mean, just scroll down on either my timeline or jury image evaluation.
All right, I'll do that. Yeah. Because Karen did it too. I
Mhm.
remember. And how did it come out with her pictures? I know you had to doctor them.
Well, Karen did it because she was trying out a new photographer.
Right. I know that. I remember the conversation.
And
And now
Yeah,
she's using
she put in 2
even a
presentations.
newer photographer.
Right, she's gonna go to somebody else.
Like her.
Good, good. I'm
What
glad
that
that didn't sound like a good situation.
well, what that person did was there was a model, and what the photographer did was cut off part of her hair, a head.
No, I
It's-
did that.
You did that? Oh.
Yeah.
Because I would think either have the whole head or cut it all off.
Well,
make
no,
it-
it was cut off above the clothing.
That's right. That's what I would do. And
But they
and
were
the reason-
horizontal, not vertical. You
Well-
told me that, Larry.
Well, the photographer shot with the camera on a tripod from so far away that he reduced like 8,000 pixels down to 2,500 pixels to work with,
Mhm.
which
Oh,
left
really?
which left her kind of short for stuff that she wanted to do for print.
You know, in her case, what you have to do is you have to, before they take the shots, you got to look through the camera to see if that's exactly what you want.
Well, she had
Because-
great photographer. Before her other images are gorgeous,
Yeah.
but
That's because it
that
was the
person-
woman's husband that was the editor of the magazine.
Yeah, they were really nice. The models weren't distracting or anything like that. You know, I see jewelry on model pics, and jewelry's tough just because of the scale of it. But you know, if you notice the model too much, then that's not really the point.
Right.
I mean, you want to notice the work.
Hey, I
Yeah.
got a little tip from that, or a little thing, and I found it to be kind of interesting because she said that she had used the same images forever, which means year after year after year for shows. And I always thought that you have to get a certain amount of new images that they don't like. The shows don't like that. They don't want that. In fact, one
Like-
show, Winter Park, they actually looks back to see if you actually use the same images. So
Yeah, but
It's
Winter Park used to do that with slides also.
because
2 to 3 years, I think.
you over the years you accumulate a body of work, and I'd like to pick from all the different eras because the style's the same. And yet sometimes you execute a piece like 10 years ago that's special, and I did like to just pick and choose instead of having to worry about getting something that I just shot within the last few months.
Well, they want your
had
current
shot.
work, so I think they say something like 2 to 3 years or something like that.
Not
18
lately. I've
months.
been looking, not lately.
Oh.
And then
Oh.
and then
What'd you
and
say,
the other ones
Larry?
I just
18
ignored.
months, I think.
Oh,
But it has to say that.
In
St.
Winter
Louis doesn't
Park,
say
it
any-
does.
St. Louis doesn't say anything, and not last year, but the year before when I applied, one of the only jurors note I got was that I needed updated work. Just out of the
Oh.
blue.
Hmm.
Well, it's interesting. This year, after that, I applied to some shows, and I used pieces from 20 years old. So we'll see.
I used a piece that was it's the first time I've ever used the same one jury image that I used in my last year images. So we'll see.
When they use your piece on the postcard, that's a pretty good image. So that would be one that I would want to use all the time instead of having to retire it. I suppose if it's a new show, like one that I've never done before, I can use anything I want.
Yeah, just
Well,
go in on Zap and change the dates.
Well, I do that.
well, you'd have to do that, but but the thing is, like, if the director, I remember I was during a show and the director said she shows the same, not me, but they were looking at the work,
Mhm.
and this person shows the same images all the time, and they let her in, but they were going to tell her that she needs to change her images in the future.
Well, it isn't like you're going to get worse. All of
Well,
a sudden,
actually, No,
And
some people
depends
can
on who
get
you're
stagnant.
stealing your images from.
Yeah.
Right.
One year when I don't care at all, it's like whether I get in or I create a ruckus or whatever, I want to take some famous artist's work. Like I want to take
Mhm.
Picasso's pots and just send that and see if anybody notices. Just to see, you know.
You might get banned from Zap if someone catches you like
Oh,
that.
right, because it's fraud.
Yeah, even if it's a joke.
Oh, come on, yeah, you're probably right, but
There,
my attitude is, come on, get a sense of humor.
there was someone who was stealing images, actual artist images,
Yeah,
and using
that's
them,
that's a lot different.
and they got banned from Zap.
Yeah, and a boost shot,
Actually,
and
more
Did they?
than
they got
one.
caught.
And the funny thing is they were stealing Michelle Levitt's images, both of them.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I don't think Picasso's going to complain.
Yeah, but someone, maybe Michelle didn't know. Someone discovered it, and
It was it was her assistant for 20 years, 20 plus years who noticed it.
Another one. That was another one. Remember the image that was two different jewelry pieces, like
Yeah. And that
together.
they used my booth picture that I shot for Diane Wright.
Was that the booth picture that was on dynamic display? That
No,
one?
no,
Okay.
it was
'Cause
on
that was a-
ProPanel's desk.
Okay, because dynamic displays is a display system, and on their website, artists have given them permission to use their booth shots just to show how the displays work.
Right.
And so a person stole that image too. The
Well,
same
ac-
person who Franken, put the images of two different jewelers' work together.
That
Yeah.
was crazy. I could not believe that. And for someone and it was their studio assistant who pointed it out, to notice like, oh, that's my portion of an actual jewelry piece.
That's
And
great.
then some of the jury images were taken from a site called Alibaba. So it's
Oh,
a
no.
jewelry manufacturer.
Yeah.
There,
Well,
Here's the thing that
Ali-
kills me though. Wait, here's the thing that kills me. They took work from this mass production manufacturer and got into all these good shows.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, what does that tell you about the jurying and all that?
Mhm.
Well, the jurors don't know what
uh,
they're looking at.
the purity. Oh, we're a juried show. When people come into my booth and say, "Is this a juried show?" I go, "Yeah, but it doesn't mean anything," and it doesn't, but it should. I say this stuff tongue in cheek because I find it really hurtful that this stuff they get away with this stuff, or they get in, or like when Buy Sell wins an award. I hate that. I mean, why do I have to, and it's like, why do I have to put up with this? Why do I have to have this angst of seeing this?
So the artist market I do here, it's separate from the farmer's market. There's the farmer's market, and then you walk
Yeah.
down, you have to cross the tracks and go down to the white tents. And
Yeah.
this woman said to me, your work is really expensive for a farmer's market. And
Hello?
and she said it in a nice way, not a mean way. And I
Hi,
said to
yes.
her, well, this is a juried event. Every artist here makes their work. And then like I could see her face changed. So she had a preconceived notion before looking at the event. So that's interesting too.
But was that truthful? Was it real? Was there any,
Yes,
because
the people who run the show, first of all, there's 40 artists out at a time, but maybe there's 60 artists that are members because you don't do every Saturday. But the people who run it, the jury system is you first have to send in pictures, and if you make it through that process, then you pay $50 and you have to bring your work in. And so they see your work in person. And so, there's a range regarding prices, but everyone is hand making their work. And it's, you have to be a New Mexico resident. And so the people who run it, they know what, I mean, they could look on somebody's website, check the
Mhm.
person out and do all of that. So, you know, it's, as I say, it's a range of types of work. And I mean, you know, there's very nice work that's inexpensive, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be expensive to be good. So, but yeah, people, customers, when they come to that, some of them, you know, just question why I'm there. It's like, because I'd like to make some money today, please.
No, actually, Allison, being there is a really good thing for you because, you know, probably you're the high end, you know, and there would always be somebody coming through that really is looking for something like that, or not even looking for something, but sees your work and go, "Oh, I didn't know you existed. I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna buy this," and they'll be happy to but you know what, it used to be that galleries would come to the art fairs looking for artists that
Mhm.
that don't generally show in galleries. So you know, they would buy, and it would be an
Mhm.
exclusive, and they, you know, oh, where'd you get this artist? Well, that's my personal artist. You know, it's a place where you can get work. You might
Mhm.
have to look through 1,000, well, 300 artists to find one or two that you like, but they exist. So, you know, you fit into that category as opposed to having everybody top drawer, and then you're competing, you know, with people. So it's a good thing.
Well, I also do meet people who then come to my studio. So, because there's plenty of local people or
Yeah,
part-time, you know, second homeowners.
that's
But
another thing.
so, but yeah, I mean, it's I don't nurture it enough, and I really need to. It, but so just gonna say, mm, oh, I know. The other thing is the people who run it every year when they do a jury, they don't want to get in tons of jewelers, you know. So
Mhm.
like this year, I don't know how many people they let in, but I was lucky my year because a lot of people dropped out after COVID, so there were more spaces opened.
Mhm.
But I know in 2023 they only let in like 2 new artists because they don't want a long wait list also. So there's certain, I've been on the wait, so you schedule as many Saturdays as you want and you could be on the wait list. And it happens to everyone, but they don't want it to be that everyone's always on the wait list, and not everyone wants every weekend anyway. But it's actually, it's very well run. They run a tight ship also. Um, but I feel very lucky to have the opportunity. And plenty of times I'll make zero, but you know, then somebody might come to the studio. So you just never know. You never know who you're going to meet on any given day. You know, what time of year is it? Opera season, you know, that kind of thing. And so so it's interesting. But it's one thing I can say is people know to come there. Concierges of hotels tell people it's like it's been going on for about 12 or 13 years, and just people know as a destination, the farmers market, they can't decipher what's what, you know, that this is a separate artist market. But um you know, they actually, when I first came through Santa Fe over 30 years ago, the farmers market didn't exist, and in the rail yard it was just being developed. So it's just kind of funny how
Right. Then there was a huge flea market.
I
There,
heard about that flea
there was
market.
one big flea market that was this really incredible place that had, you name it, it had a little bit of everything out there.
Uh-huh.
And you had high-end artwork, you had weird stuff, and then something happened with the landowner. And I
Mhm.
believe there was the landowner was a Native American tribe or something, and they tried to exert more control or take over it or something. And last time I was there was sort of something there, but it was really weird. It was a
Mhm.
flea market.
Uh-huh. There used to be a great flea market in Marin County, California, uh, you know, just over the Golden Gate Bridge, just north of Sausalito. And Eric and I used to go there, and it was just like, I don't know, do good flea markets exist anywhere in the country anymore?
Aloha Stadium, Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
It was the last time we went there.
Right.
A lot of it was buy sell, but people would bring homegrown vegetables, fruit, and flowers.
Mhm.
That's
Ah.
those they call them boy flowers.
Oh,
They sort of heart shaped with the long yellow. Uh,
oh, I can't think of what they're called. I know what you're talking. They're waxy kind of looking.
yeah, they look like
Yeah.
fake flowers even on the plant.
They do. Yeah, yeah.
But they'd have bunches of those, and
Mhm.
like here, you'd spend $100 on a vase full. There, they were selling it for about $5 because it came out
So
of the
I used to do the contemporary craft market in Santa Monica. The people who ran it they were from Hawaii. They did one in San Francisco and one in LA. And they would bring flowers for the artists to buy. You could order ahead of time. Very, very reasonable. And these gorgeous orchids and all of those tropical flowers. And then they stopped. And I'm sure they needed some sort of licensing to go from Hawaii to California with flowers.
As long as there's no soil, it can come in.
Right.
Fruit has
So
to be protected.
Yeah.
For bugs
Right.
or whatever, but
right.
plant matter, as long as there's no soil, it usually can come in.
Hmm.
Because I've brought home pieces of plumeria, which didn't survive, but the first of my dragon fruit plants was actually a chunk from a Hawaiian hillside. So they call it Queen of the Night, but it's not the same thing that's called Queen of the Night here.
Oh, okay.
So.
That I think it's a flea market, and the name of it I can't remember, but it's the Chris and Joanna Gaines, they go to it, so it must be near Waco, Texas. Something like, not Big Top, Round Top, or I don't know. Isn't that a flea market in Texas? You guys never heard of it, I'm sorry.
I know, and I don't know if it still exists. There was this antique fair in Brimfield, Massachusetts, on the side of the road. It wasn't in a building or anything. And the whole town, like you drive through the town, and it's all antiques and junk and that kind of. So it was like a flea market, but focused on vintage items. And I remember seeing a beautiful anvil, and Eric said to me, "Well, how would we get it home?" But I don't know if it's still there or not. And it's the type of place antique dealers would go to.
Yeah.
I've got to run because I've got our NAIA Zoom tonight, talking about emerging artist advice tonight.
So what time is it?
It will be 7 o'clock Eastern, which will be 5 o'clock your time.
Okay.
Which is almost coming up.
I just taught a workshop this weekend online, and every email, I actually did put all the time zones, but just in big letters, Mountain Time, because it can get so confusing when we're talking about time.
Hey, Court.
Yeah.
You were saying, I haven't been there, but as long as I got nothing to do, and I don't mean it like that. It's just that I can't, I can't fire pots. I might want to show up, and there's no password, right? You just
no, we had a technical glitch last time, and there's a password listed on the link now, but you don't need it. Somehow in Zoom, it got tripped that a password was needed. And also I noticed that the links for the Zooms that need a password are different than the links for the Zooms that don't need a password. So in fact, I just went in today, and on the 3 places that I posted it, I went in and changed the links, so everything should work fine.
So, and one of those places would be the Facebook NAIA.
Yes,
So there's a link from there.
yes. Their art fair reviews, I put it on my my personal page. And sometimes I post it in the jet skis group.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 7 o'clock Eastern time.
How many people show up?
We usually have around a dozen or so.
That's all. Thought you were going to tell me 100 people. 100 people come there.
Um,
Last time it seemed like the squares were smaller and there were more people.
yeah, we had last time we didn't have as many people because of the issue with the password, but I've got that fixed now. And I added the password to the post, so it's there too, in case somebody needs it.
Sorry about the noise.
So, all right, maybe I will see some of you later tonight.
Yep.
Bye.
All right, Corey,
Right.
have a good one.
So, any other show news or anything?
Just waiting patiently.
I'm
Oh,
I'm
Oscar. Sorry.
tempted to sneak off on my desktop and look to see if there were any results from the.
Jazz Fest.
Yes, thank you.
I didn't see anything yet.
Well, I hope you both get in.
Then I got to
Did
make a
you?
decision.
Well,
too-
so I feel very mixed about it. Like,
So do
getting
I.
in the logistics of finding a place to stay, getting
It's
there, all that.
expensive to do it, to be there, you know.
But
Anyway, I
Pocket change for you guys.
what?
That's pocket change for you guys. Don't get it.
If
Oh,
I get
Oscar,
in,
so
I'll go on.
go
What?
go ahead. Sorry, I was going to ask when your next show is. Then is it next weekend?
Me?
No,
This
Oscar.
weekend. This weekend. And it needs to
This
go well.
weekend.
Yeah.
Yes, it better go well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little
Needs to-
concerning that well, actually, I didn't think, you know what, last year Bonita Springs wasn't that great, and so it didn't surprise me that wasn't that great this year. I have a feeling that
No, it was I didn't have a good show. I know a lot of people have good shows. My section didn't have really a lot of people in my section didn't do well, but I know people that sold over $20,000 in that show.
really,
wow.
and
Yeah.
and
That's a good show.
I think you had the best. See, you had my old space, so I think you had the best space in the show.
So but they changed
Location.
a lot of things. The city changed a lot of things. So I don't know. Now that section seems to be like the last section that people walk. So who knows?
And then Barry, are you doing Coconut Grove?
Yes.
When is that?
President's Day weekend.
3 weeks
Okay.
from now. Wait a minute.
So February,
Yeah.
4
right,
weeks from
the
today.
17th.
Yeah,
know,
that
I have
weekend.
But is Fort Myers before that?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the weekend before. Or no,
So-
it's 2
Weeks
weeks before.
So like next weekend?
No, 2 weeks
Oh.
from now.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually, I don't know if you were on when I said that it's been so cold I can't fire any pots. So I'm actually going to cancel a show. First time,
Oh,
New Smyrna
wow.
Beach. I just,
Wow.
I mean, they're so dark. I mean, I'm looking at them right now. I need to refire these pieces. They're horrible.
Oh, no.
I can't show my. And you know what? Oh, so I go out this week. No, the high is going to be 15 degrees every day.
So do you have
Wow.
do you have a gas kiln?
Yeah, but I
Or-
do the raku outside. You got to do it outside
Right,
because of the smoke and
right.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
It's a three-sided structure. So
uh-huh.
in there, it's okay, but it gets a certain temperature, 15 degrees, the heat, it doesn't, there's not enough heat anyway. It's really uncomfortable.
Oh, okay.
In
Okay, got
fact,
it.
because I've done it in all different temperatures,
Hmm.
there's 15 degrees and then 25 degrees, you can feel the difference.
Hmm.
But even 25, and then 10 degrees higher than that, there's a noticeable difference between 35 and 25.
Uh-huh.
35 is actually comfortable with the heat. So here's the story is that the weather report, it's going to be like this till Monday. And then it's going to climb into the 30s. So, and that whole week. So, and I'd have to leave this Monday to get there for the next weekend.
Mhm.
So,
So tell me about how you said it's three-sided.
yeah.
So can you explain it?
Um,
I mean,
I don't
it's
know, three
raccoon, so
walls.
it's in the ground?
Well, it's on the ground. There's
On the
the
ground.
structure is there's three sides and a roof.
Hmm.
And then the kiln, it's on a pulley system,
Hmm.
weighted so that I fire them one at a time or three at a time sometimes.
Oh.
So the shell lifts up,
Hmm.
and I put the pieces on the shelf. The shelf stationary, and then the shell comes down.
Hmm.
I fire it, and then and I use a barometer to read the temperature. And then when it's done, I you know I I put the bricks in the in the bucket, and then it pulls it down, and then I pull the
Hmm.
pieces out and put it in the garbage can.
Hmm.
So I'm outside the whole time.
Right, right.
Hmm.
Yeah, being inside doing that probably, wouldn't be good.
Well, it would be good, except it's smoky. So
Right. So you
yeah,
probably poison yourself.
I'm probably poisoning myself anyway. Except, I had my doctor's appointment a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and all the blood work was great. There's no indication that I have cancer or any of that. I do have a heart
Good.
problem, but everything else is fine. So
Hmm.
so
I
no,
know ceramic
it's something to
artists
worry
often have,
about.
yeah, ceramic artists often have issues with lungs and that kind of thing sometimes. So,
Yeah.
well,
The thing
that's good
is,
news.
when I was a kid, I was allergic to stuff. So I've had congestion my whole life. So I don't know if it's just a continuation of that, or I'm actually am poisoning myself slowly, ruining my lungs. But no, I'm still here.
Mhm.
You know, I'm looking older.
Well, you are older.
That part's inevitable. What
Yes.
can you do?
Well, it's, well, there's the alternative. So, beats the alternative, right?
Oh, definitely. As far as we know.
Kristen, what's your cat's name?
Debbie.
Yeah.
Debbie's
Debbie.
yawning. Debbie had a
Yeah.
long day.
Hi, Debbie.
Debbie's
Debbie.
out of naps today.
Uh-huh. It's a
Where did
hard
that
life.
name come from?
The name?
Debbie Reynolds?
No, actually, I
Debbie
used to watch,
Harry?
no, I'm trying to tell you, I used to watch Lost in Space when I was a kid.
Yeah, great show.
And the sister, Penny or whatever, had a space monkey named Debbie, and I always thought that was funny. So that's where it comes from.
That's
That was a
very
great
funny.
show. Those are all
Robbie
great
the
shows.
robot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dr. Smith.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thank
Good to
you,
see
Larry.
everyone.
Good one, guys.
Bye. Have a good Florida show, Oscar.
I will.
We see
Be
you
good.
next week.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
See y'all.
All right.